no matter what age you are, no matter what your past has been like, no matter where you're at right now in terms of your level of self-esteem, or whether you're introverted or extroverted, and no matter what you have or haven't done in your life, there are simple ways that you can help to shift your self-esteem and your self-confidence in a positive direction so that it is more aligned to who you really are. Self-esteem, self-confidence, when we lack those things, we're out of alignment with our powerful divine nature, our powerful true selves. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's the ride called life. That's called being human. It's a challenging old ride, this thing called life. And so we go through all sorts of things. Our mind gets conditioned in all sorts of ways. We end up picking up beliefs and thought patterns and all sorts of feelings and experiences that we have, which end up having us doubting ourselves. And life is just a journey to come home to the truth of who we are, and to come home to a place of deep, aligned self-acceptance, self-love, and confidence that stems from that. So it's a little bit like a recipe, and don't want to sound too cliche about that, but it is unique for each person because you've got your own stuff going on and your own things to overcome. But there are certain things that make a really big difference to your level of self-esteem and self-confidence, that if you put them together in a little recipe, they will definitely help you, okay? So I recently shared with my community some case studies. That's a pretty formal word for it. Really, it's me interviewing people that I find to be super inspiring, that I know for a fact, while they have self-confidence now and they behave in a way that demonstrates they've got a quiet and beautiful confidence in terms of how they carry themselves, and they're doing things in their lives which show and demonstrate to us that they obviously have some self-confidence, they haven't always felt that way. And they admit that they've had self-doubt or second-guessing themselves or low self-esteem or whatever it might be. And so I know they are demonstrations of having overcome that, or being able to counter that in daily life such that they can still live their life in a really full and fulfilling way. So after I went through interviewing those people, some really interesting common themes emerged. Now, these are people that have mentored me, or people that I know personally, or I have known in my professional network. All different ages, spanning a 50-year age range, introverts, extroverts, all sorts of different upbringings. And those common themes surprised me, actually. It was really interesting to see what came out of it. And there's some common themes to what I've taught in the past, but it was really refreshing and interesting, because this is not information I'm sharing today that comes from a self-help book. It's not coming from a life coach or any other confidence coach. It's coming from just everyday people that I know have overcome these things and are demonstrating confidence in their life. So when we look and we see themes and patterns, that's really helpful, because when you see other people and groups of people all experiencing benefit from the same thing, there's a chance that if you utilize that wisdom in your own life, you may also gain benefit from those same themes. So that's what we're going to focus on today. I'm going to briefly read out what those themes were in case you missed recent emails that I shared, and then I'm going to give you ways to implement these same 9 things in your life, things you can do immediately. Okay, so the 9 themes that emerged, and there will be a link with this video where you can read the full information from each person about what made a difference in their life, but there were 9 common themes. Those things were: number 1, self-acceptance is critical to having self-confidence. Number 2 is your mindset, attitudes, and really importantly, your self-talk has a lot to do with your level of self-confidence. The third thing, really interesting, other people having faith in you and telling you they believe in you and telling you what you're capable of when you can't necessarily see it for yourself. So it shifts your perspective of yourself. You see yourself in new light. You're more able to feel confident when you tap into this different sort of paradigm or reality about yourself that other people see that you perhaps don't. The fourth theme was loving what you do. When you love what you do, there's a confidence that naturally comes with that. So we'll dive into that a bit deeper. Theme number 5, having a healthy, helpful and accurate perspective about fear, risk, and failure. This was the biggest, most resounding theme. Every person, or almost every person, mentioned their attitude and their mindset towards fear, risk, and failure. And it was all very helpful in terms of them being leveraged to have confidence. They all experience some level of fear, but they have a healthy and accurate perspective about things like risk and failure. The sixth theme was drawing strength from previous life challenges and adversity to help you feel stronger and more confident now. Tip number 7, or theme number 7 for confidence, was drawing on faith and divine guidance and the sense of there being a higher power and something else that supports you in your life. Theme number 8, taking small steps, and small steps builds confidence. And the 9th thing was regularly connecting with your inner self more than the outer world around you, having a stable, strong relationship with that inner part of your reality, your own spirit, your own essence, your own spark inside, or your inner voice, if you like, and that being a really important foundation to orient your life around, instead of being lost in the world around you and all the messages that get thrown at you, which can often lead to self-comparison and losing connection with your true self. So we're going to go through 9 tips. Those are the 9 themes. How do you apply those in your own life right now? I'm just going to give you some really simple ideas so that you can play with them. Now you might say, well, out of these 9 things, which of these really intuitively do I know I need? Because you might say, well, actually, I do practice lots of self-talk and I do accept myself, but the other 7 things, I could really practice those and apply those. There might be only one of the things. Whatever it is for you uniquely, listen from your unique perspective and say, what does my intuition tell me will help me and will work for me, okay? And then just maybe pick a few and start implementing them right away. Super important to take action. So grab a pen and paper. We're going to go through each one now. So first up, I'm going to give you one quick tip for how to accept yourself unconditionally. And this is a practice. You don't do this one thing and you're done, okay? You take an attitude of self-acceptance. You take a way of living, a way of being, a practice on a daily basis of I choose to accept myself. But here's my tip for you around self-acceptance. Most people, if they don't accept themselves, there's a reason. I don't accept myself, or I can't accept myself because, and then that because will be followed by any number of things. So pay attention to what your because is. I don't accept myself fully, or I can't accept myself fully because I don't like this about myself, because other people say this about me, because I made this mistake in the past, because I'm not a good listener, because I'm judgmental, because I don't look a certain way, because my parents told me this about myself, because this happened to me, because I failed when I did this particular thing and it didn't work out. Whatever it is, there will be something about you that you think is not good enough, is imperfect, is messy, is a failure, is a mistake. And there's a cold hard truth you have to accept if you want to be able to accept yourself. And that is that you are meant to have these things about yourself. There is no human being on the planet that doesn't have faults, quirks, weaknesses, challenges. These are part of being human. They are part of your inherent human nature and your design. They are part of your design for life, because in having these things, they are like portals for you to see and experience the messiness of being human, and therefore experience the evolution that's available to you as you take these things and you grow with them and through them in your life. So these messy things can actually be the sparks, the fuel, the portal, the doorway through which you grow in your life. They are not wrong. When you make them wrong, make your not this enough, not that enough, faults, challenges, failings, weaknesses, when you make them wrong, you make yourself wrong, and therefore you feel like you can't accept yourself. So what I recommend is more than just plastering in positive affirmations of I am enough and I accept myself and I love myself, which are very important and they are the truth, you are enough. Rather than just doing that, it's actually important to just front face the things about yourself that you think make you unacceptable and look them directly in the eye. Don't hide from them. You want to normalize it and accept this. Yes, you have weaknesses and faults and challenges as a human being, and so does every other person on the planet. Because if you think there's something wrong with being that way, being human, there's nowhere to go with that. Everybody has these things about themselves. They're just hiding them from you. And so when you realize that, that is the permission to accept yourself even though those things. So what you say to yourself is, I make mistakes and I accept myself. I have weaknesses and I accept myself. I don't like this particular thing about myself and I accept myself anyway. I have had these things happen to me in the past and I accept myself. I have done these things or not done these things and I accept myself. Other people have said these things to me and I accept myself. So what you're saying is, yes, this is all true about life and about my experience, and irrespective of that, I accept myself anyway. And it's not anyway like we're turning away from it. It's like I am seeing that as the fullness and completeness and a part of my being human. And I accept myself including it, including all of that stuff. And I'll tell you what, for me with my confidence, is my own experience, despite the fact that this came out in the themes when I studied and asked questions of all these people that I admire and I know have confidence and have overcome challenges around self-esteem. For me personally, when I felt like I had to hide my weaknesses and my faults and my challenges and my mistakes and my failings, it made me so nervous and not confident, because what you feel like is you feel like an imposter and you feel like someone's going to find out. So it's much better just to own it. Own it in yourself and don't be afraid of it in yourself. Make peace with it and befriend those parts of yourself. And then you'll feel so much more confident to stand in this world as who you really are with all of that stuff included. So use a mantra, name the things that you feel like you can't accept about yourself, and then use mantras to say, yes, all of that stuff, and I accept myself, including all that stuff, okay? Now we're going to move on to the second theme and the second tip, and this is around mindset, attitude, and self-talk, okay? I'm going to give you sort of like a little mindset shift that you can adopt today that will help to elevate your confidence. And it's this: the core true self of who you are, the divine essence, the spark inside of you, confidence isn't even a question. That's not even a question at that level of who you are. Where low self-esteem and low confidence comes in is at the level of your conditioned mindset. So you weren't born into the world going, I'm second guessing myself when I'm a baby, I'm doubting myself when I'm a baby, I don't have confidence when I'm a baby. You don't do that. You just are this glorious little light. So we know that the divine spark, the essence, the true you, before your mind starts winding up and getting conditioned, we know that confidence is just a natural given. It's just who you are. But it's the mindset gets led into all sorts of beliefs about yourself. I'm not enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. From your upbringing, your experiences, things you're exposed to, things people have said to you, things you've done, maybe that didn't work out, and you made up your mind that you were missing something, you weren't enough of something. And that seeds self-doubt and that seeds lack of confidence in you. So what you want to do is say, my job is to bring my mindset back into alignment with who I was born as, and realize that it's okay to have those conditioned beliefs, but your job is to notice when they come up as thoughts or feelings. So thoughts of, oh, I can't do that, I'm not good enough to do that, or feelings of low self-esteem or angst. Notice those things and say, is this true about who I was really born as? Is this helpful? Is this thought, this belief, this sense true and helpful? And the answer is always going to be no, this is not true, or at the very least, this is not helpful. And then your job is to fill your mind with what is true and is helpful. Okay, so it's just a constant mind interruption and redirection. Remember who you really are, your core essence. Confidence isn't even an issue. Your mindset and your emotional system have been led off in all sorts of directions where you got seeded with self-doubt and confidence issues. So from this center, with your awareness, when you notice beliefs, thoughts, or sensations which feel like self-doubt or lack of confidence, your job is to bring it back and redirect it and say, that is not true of who I really am, that is not helpful. I redirected what is true and helpful. And then you seed in your mind a new perspective, a new thought, a new attitude that will serve you. Now, it's up to you what you want to seed into your mind that you believe will help you. What is it that you need to hear? You ask yourself, what is it I need to hear? What did I not hear growing up? What am I not telling myself? What are other people not saying to me? And I desperately want to hear it, and I desperately want to believe that it's true. So it might be, I want to know and I want to believe and I want to hear that I'm good enough. Well, if that is it, you are the one you need to hear it from. You are the person you're waiting for, and your job is to tell it to yourself every day. Okay? So counter every single negative thought that comes up that rocks you and makes you feel self-doubt, second guessing, lack of confidence. Counter it, notice it, redirect it, not true, not helpful. What is true and helpful? And then what would my soul say to me? What would spirit, divinity, higher power say to me? What do I need to hear? And then tell yourself that, and it'll be unique to you. So you choose what you most need to hear, and then you be ready on a daily basis when your mind's off on a tangent to tell that to yourself, to fill your mind with that. This is about mindset, attitude, and self-talk. The second thing to help lift your confidence. We want to build a healthy mindset, a healthy attitude, and healthy self-talk which supports confidence. Okay, the third theme and the third tip for helping to boost your confidence is, and what came out of these conversations that I had with people that inspire me and I admire, who have overcome these types of challenges and are very confident now or doing confident things, is many of them said that other people believed in them and told them that they believed in them and told them what they thought they were capable of and gave them positive feedback, and they didn't personally see themselves that way. So when someone else told them these positive things, it made them stop and look at themselves in new light. And that helped, having that external positive input, helped to lift their confidence and to consider themselves in a new way, have a new relationship with yourself. Now, I'm actually not a huge fan of this as a strategy, and there's one reason for it. It's because relying on the outside world to make you feel good about yourself and to boost your confidence is a risky game, because you can't control what other people say or do. So, but I cannot deny this came out as a massive theme when I asked everyday people what has helped them to be confident. People said this made a really big difference. And so with that said, how can we use this but not rely so heavily on it? It's very important that you don't look to other people to tell you what you're capable of or to base all your self-esteem upon. And the reason is that the large majority of people will not give you what you're looking for and will not give you what you need, at least not reliably. And if you attach to people's praise, you'll also become attached to their criticism, okay? So we don't want to do that as a general rule of thumb, but here's what we can do. We can pick one reliable confidence ally upon whom which we can derive this kind of positive feedback to boost our confidence, okay? So taking this outcome from these case studies, these interviews and conversations I had, how can we use that? Number one, pick a person you already know that you trust that can be this person for you, that can give you positive feedback, that can tell you what you're capable of when you don't know it for yourself, who will believe in you at times when you will not believe in yourself, who will tell you positive things to help lift you up and help you to see yourself in new light so that you can derive confidence more from that as part of your overall recipe. Now that might be a friend, a work colleague, a personal or professional mentor, a partner, parent, child, family member, cousin. It might be someone you actually get coaching from, like I provide that for my coaching clients and people in my programs. It might be joining a informal or formal group, membership or network, any kind of groups where you're with like-minded people, right? It might be if you're a parent, might be for mothers, it might be other mothers in your parenting group. If you're into a particular hobby or topic or interest, it might be people like-minded in those networks that you naturally gravitate to. And what it is it's about saying that other people see good traits in me. Other people see capability in me. And when I'm surrounding myself with those people and I'm listening intently to what they're saying and they give positive feedback, I will absorb that and I will utilize it for my benefit. And I deflect what does not work for me. I deflect criticism, right? But I take what will work for me and I will use it to boost me up. Now, if you are isolated for any reason, if you have no one like this in your life that you can rely upon, and that is legitimately where some people are at, and you feel like you can't find a group, you can't find a faith group or an interest group or some kind of network or membership that you could belong to where that would be possible for you, you can develop a relationship with life and divinity or higher power or whatever you want to call that in your own language and belief system, and you can journal your relationship with that. Okay, what would life have me know about myself and believe about myself? What might, if my life was a footprint, what might life want to tell me about myself? My good traits, my strengths, my capabilities, things I haven't even realized that I could do. I wonder what those might be. So you can kind of still utilize this theme in your life just in a slightly different way. What this is really about is it's about saying other people can see the light and possibility in you when you cannot see it for yourself. And you know what the beauty is that you can do that for other people. So if you get a confidence ally, like I'm talking about, a friend, a family member, a workmate, whoever it might be, you can be that for them as much as they can be it for you. You can tell people, start doing that. Start telling people that you know and that you observe and witness what you see in them, the possibilities, the capabilities, the talents, the gifts, the positive traits, the strengths. Tell people when you see that in them, because you then become a confidence booster to them. And it's funny when you start doing this for other people, what you end up experiencing for yourself. You'll end up probably noticing more of that comes towards you as well. So we want to see the light in other people and see them as if that's all we see, and vice versa. Then we can also encourage relationships with people where they provide that to us. Now, out of the interviews and case studies, what was really interesting was people saying, you know, don't be around toxic people. Obvious, right? You don't need to be surrounded by super confident people, but it's just about being around people that are generally empowering and generally nice and generally kind and generally want to empower themselves and empower other people around them, and avoid super negative, judgmental, toxic people, because it just doesn't work for you. And being with those people often enables their patterns as well. So we want to surround ourselves with people with good attitudes, good mindsets. They have good self-talk. They provide positive feedback, and vice versa. You can provide that for them. It's not a perfect world, so you can't avoid a lot of the stuff we're talking about, but you can consciously choose to bolster your network of those types of people. Okay, fourth tip for boosting your confidence is a guaranteed no-risk way to do what you love right now. Because one of the themes that came out of these case studies of people who are demonstrating confidence in their life is that they say doing what they love brings them confidence. They don't wait to have confidence to then do what they love. They said that actually being able to follow their passions and do things they enjoy and do things they love helps them to feel confident. And, you know, several of the people I spoke to said, I don't feel that confident when I first start out doing something. I do feel kind of second guessing and feel a bit of doubt, but it's the taking action and doing things that I enjoy and I love that boosts my confidence and has helped to build that up cumulatively over time. So here is the way, the no-risk way to do what you love right now. Remove all your criteria about what you think it is to do what you love. Remove all your expectations of what you think doing what you love must look like, what you must get from it, and release your attachment to the end result of doing what you love. What I mean by that is most people will say, well, I can't do what I love because I can't do it in the exact way I want to do it, or I can't do it for a full-time living, or I can't make an income off it, or I can't whatever. And there's a whole lot of criteria where in our minds we are conditioned to think that doing what you love means you quit everything else and you do it full on, and it becomes this gigantic, glorious, aha, shining moment of success. Whereas doing what you love is just filling your day with little snippets and little daisy chain collection of moments where you do things you love just because it's fun, without any expectation that it has to look a certain way or be a certain way. And, for perfectionists amongst us, we want it to, we want to only do something if we can do it the exact way we want to do it. And life isn't like that. It's pretty imperfect, this whole life journey. So here's what I encourage you to do in the next week. Do one thing you love in one small way. Do it for just having fun doing it. Don't do it for an outcome. Don't do it for a result. Don't do it to get feedback. Don't do it to get praise. Don't do it to get money. Don't do it for fame. Don't do it for any other reason than just for the love of doing it. And all it has to be is one small thing, one small step to do something that you love. Find a way that you can do something you love in the next week. And doing what you love lifts you up. It flushes your whole body and floods your whole body with feelings of satisfaction and joy and enthusiasm, and that all lines up with feeling good and feeling confident. There's nothing better than spending a little bit of time doing something you love. You feel good about yourself, right? It's going to boost your feeling about yourself, including a feeling of confidence. And sometimes we have to really challenge our excuses and our stories about why we can't do things we love. Because even if it is only just for 2 minutes, I remember having a conversation with someone who had home and doesn't have even 2 seconds to themselves, right? And they said, I really love yoga, and you've got to be kidding me if you think I'm going to get any time to do a yoga on my own. And so they said, they were just like, well, I just got to stop this whole rationale about why I can't do it, and I'm going to have to do it imperfectly because I do love it, and maybe there's a way I can love it in an imperfect way. And put the yoga mat down, and they've got a dog yapping around over here, and they've got a toddler crawling underneath them, and one child trying to climb on top of them. But you know what? There's a level of joy in it anyway, even though it wasn't solitude and it wasn't silent time, it wasn't perfect yoga in their mind. It was still them being able to integrate something that they love in their life, makes them feel good, lifts their sense of confidence that they are living the life they want to live. So moving on to tip number 5, practical thing that you can do or a shift you can make to help lift your confidence, is about attitude change around risk and failure. This was the most clear theme that came out of the case studies of the people that I spoke to who have overcome self-confidence issues or self-esteem, self-doubt, is that they all demonstrated and all talked about how their attitude toward risk and failure helped them to do things and to feel a level of confidence in doing things. And here's what it is. It's that nothing you do that doesn't work out makes you a failure. Meaning something you do can fail. You can fail at the experience. It doesn't work out the way you want. That doesn't make you a failure as a person. And I hold the same attitude deeply, and I've had to cultivate it because I didn't always have it. If you do something and it doesn't work out, which happens to almost every single person, I would imagine, on the planet at some point or another, you do something and it doesn't work out, that doesn't make you a failure. You are a human being doing stuff, and the stuff you do doesn't work out, but that doesn't make you a failure. It means the thing failed, the experience failed, the project failed, whatever it is. It doesn't make you a failure. The attitude is, I'm always winning when I'm doing things that I want to do, whether they work out or not. The only true failure is to do nothing, because you're really not even allowing your spirit to play and dance in life. So your attitude around failing is important, and your attitude around risk is critical, because if you can change what you think is risk or change what you think is risky, and what I mean by this is it is a risk to do nothing as much as it is a risk to do something. And when we talk about risk, you don't have to risk everything. Like, another thing that came out was multiple people saying they don't leap in and just do whatever they want with no strategy. Multiple people said, I just take really small steps. I take tiny risks, meaning if I do something and it doesn't really go the way I want, I can adjust and change what I'm doing, or I can step back. So you don't have to leap off a cliff to do things that are important to you in your life and to have confidence doing something. You can be confident you want to try something, not confident you think it's going to work, just confident you know you want it, and then take small steps that have small risks, and your relationship to risk is healthy. So you say, I'm willing to take a small risk, and I can always change directions if it doesn't go the way I want, okay? So all of life is a risk. Being alive and stepping outside your door every day is a risk, right? All of life can have the potential of failure. And you can say it's risky to do something, but it's also risky to do nothing. And it could be failure to step out, or it could be failure to not step out. And so you have to choose your attitude about risk and failure, and choose it really powerfully. And that was one thing that was really clear amongst most people I spoke to. There is no escaping risk or failure. So just get your mindset really powerful about it, and that's going to support you when you want to do things in your life. Because confidence is not just self-confidence. I feel good about myself and I feel confident in who I am as a person. It's about confidence to do things in your life, to take steps into the unknown, to take new directions or new goals or whatever it is that you want to do. My tip around that personally is also to not hinge your self-worth on results. Hinge your sense of self on your ability to get up and do stuff in life, irrespective of the results. If you are a person who does things and you're willing to try things, I have the utmost respect for you. I'm not interested in what your results are. I'm interested in who you're willing to be in the world each day, in a world that is challenging, messy, with all the things we have to face as human beings. Your self-worth is based on getting up every day and being willing to give your life a go, and that's it. So get unattached from outcomes and get attached into being willing to take small risks, have a healthy relationship with failure, and do stuff that's important to you in small and easy ways, okay? The sixth theme and sixth tip for you around boosting your confidence is a small reflection exercise that you can do with your journal that will help to lower your level of fear and definitely elevate your self-esteem, okay? What I want you to do is write down the tough things that you have done in your life so far, the tough things you've been through, the things you've survived, the adversities you've had to face, and I want you to write them down, and I want you to notice that you're still standing. I want you to notice that you are here watching a video about how to live your life consciously, and you've got a commitment to your self-confidence and living a life that is meaningful to you. You've been through all of that in your past, and you're still standing, and you're still here wanting to evolve and live a life that's meaningful to you. That in itself is enough to boost your confidence and your level of self-esteem. Like, really give yourself some credit to go through all the things you've been through and to still be here with hope and faith and a commitment to yourself. You need to pat yourself on the back. You need to shake your own hand. You need to applaud yourself, because that in itself takes guts, and that takes a level of self-confidence and self-esteem, and actually you're demonstrating self-confidence and self-esteem and you don't even realize it. Okay? What trauma, pain, loss or grief have you been through? And whether it's in your childhood as an adult, whether it was in your family, whether it was in your health, your career, your finances, your business, your relationships, and what did you learn from those things? Okay? What has made you stronger and wiser? Because you are destined to take all of that and to help it expand you now, not shrink you away. You can go one of two places, and someone said this to me in these case studies when I interviewed the people that we took these themes from. When life hits you with tragedy, and the people I spoke to have been through tragedies and deep, very confronting adversities, what are you going to do? Are you going to roll over and give up, or are you going to stand back up and keep on going, because those are the two options you've got, right? And I want you to think about, what have you learned through all the adversities you've been through? And I want you to consider this: what if life has asked you to take the learning from that right now and expand, not to shrink away, not to become smaller, not to put walls up, not to be more afraid, but in fact to utilize that wisdom now, and that all of life is asking you to use that wisdom now to realize you've got so much of a strong foundation to stand upon in your life. Often the more adversity you've been through, the stronger your foundation is, if you're willing to use it that way. But it takes a conscious choice to use it as the strength inside of you. When you've been through a lot of adversity, you realize that, I got through it. What's the worst that can happen? I got through all of that. And then that actually gives you an attitude when you're going forward. Well, what's the worst that can happen? I've been through some tough times. So what's the worst that can happen? I'm still standing. And if you actually fire up that attitude inside of yourself, it really will boost your confidence and self-esteem. You've got a 100% track record of getting through, as the saying goes. The seventh tip I've got for you, and the seventh theme that came out of this confidence boosting case study, if you like, is to draw upon faith. So draw upon this foundation that many people have of spirituality or faith or belief in something bigger than you, that there is some sort of divine or higher power or intelligence below the surface, beyond the surface, or pervading every aspect of life, and that actually your life is not just about you and your body and your two hands and your little mind to try to navigate this life. If you think that, if you feel like you have to hinge your whole confidence on just what's in your mind that you've learned in your life to date, and your small body and your two hands and the 24 hours you have in a day, I wouldn't have confidence in myself or in life if I hinged my confidence on that. I just wouldn't. Because how big are we in our tiny little bodies in this giant big world with all the chaos and all the variables that we don't control? Right? That's a lot to hinge your confidence on. So this 5-minute little faith ritual is, you can sit down, and it can be like a prayer or a meditation, or you can sit down with a journal. And it's just for you to give thanks for, acknowledge, and play with the truth that you're not alone in your own life journey, and that there's something much bigger going on. There's something much bigger and more powerful than you that is wrapped around you, that is going on in your life journey. And just the simple practice of gratitude for that, as a little ritual once a day, is enough to skyrocket your confidence. I know, because it works for me, and of a couple of people that I spoke to for this case study, these interviews, said that their relationship with this aspect of life has really helped them to feel more confident in their choices and in their journey. So when we think about it, we're saying, well, I don't beat my own heart, so something's going on here. I don't choose whether I wake up each morning. I don't provide the air that I breathe for myself. There is something that gives life to me and that has me be here in the first place and continues to have me be here. So that's pretty powerful. So when we think about strength, where are we drawing strength from? Where are we drawing love from? Where are we drawing wisdom from? And this really is a belief system. So if this doesn't vibe with you, totally cool. But if you're a person of faith, if you're a person of spiritual foundation in your life, you may resonate with this. I often just remind myself that Creator, the universal higher power, I use all these words interchangeably. Some people say God, it depends on your faith system. But I remind myself that this higher power is the love that I feel, and is the love from which I give, live, and forgive. It is the power, the wisdom, and the strength that I draw upon in my daily life. It is the source of the creativity and inspirations and ideas that I have come into my mind. It is the source of my passion and my joy and my enthusiasm and my excitement. I don't have to figure out everything alone. And for those of you that know me in my community, you know that I follow divine guidance, and I surrender often to what is the highest good. I say, what may the highest good be done for all. I want certain things, and I visualize and tap into a sense of joy about what's possible to create in my life. But I also say always, may the highest good be done for all. May I be shown the highest path available, whether it aligns to what my little thinking mind can come up with or not. And so there's this kind of sense of being guided in your life. Now, if you are a person of faith and spirituality, this practice is game changing. Just give thanks for it every day. Give thanks for, divine guidance and synchronicities and the ability to ask for support and ask to be shown the way. And that for me is a complete life changer. That changed my life, over a decade ago when I started to awaken to this aspect of life. Okay, so moving on, tip number 8 is around taking small steps. I'm going to show you one quick way that you can increase your confidence through evidence that you are confident. Your mind loves evidence. We all love evidence, right? We want to gather facts that prove to us something is true in order for us to feel we've got something solid to hang on to. So this is great for those of us that are really analytical and really left-brained and really like to pull things to pieces to find facts and evidence. There's a really simple way that you can get evidence of your increased confidence within the next 7 days, if you want to give you proof that you are being a confident person now. Not that you can become confident or that your confidence is growing a little bit, but that you are confident now. And it's really, really simple, and it's based on something that came out of the case studies where everybody said taking small steps builds confidence. Okay, you don't wait to become confident and then take a step. You take steps even when you're afraid. You feel the fear and do it anyway, which was something that multiple people literally said, feel the fear and do it anyway. And that is my philosophy in life. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one small action in the next week on something that is important to you. A goal, a project, a decision that you need to make. Doesn't matter what it is, even if it's just that you ask a question to get information, or you do some research, or you create a little plan in your journal with no obligation, just that. Or it might be something a little bigger where you actually have a conversation, or you make a decision, or you take action in a new direction. That's all you're going to do, and then you are going to write in your journal that you did it and how you feel about the fact you did it. And that is it. Action taking builds confidence. I know this for myself. The more actions I've taken, even though I'm afraid, even though I doubted myself, even though I was second guessing whether I could do it, even though I wasn't sure what would happen, even though I wondered if I would fail or succeed, even when those actions didn't create the results I would have loved and the thing didn't go so well, I still felt more confident afterwards, because I was like, well, I actually did it. Good on me. I took action. And you feel like you're actually in charge of and being active in your life. There's nothing worse for your self-esteem and self-confidence than knowing there's something you want to do and you're not doing it. It really grates on you, and it kind of provides your negative belief system evidence that you're not confident, because here I am, I'm not doing anything, so obviously I don't have the confidence to do it. Whereas the second you take one small, no obligation, tiny step with no risk, do it in a really easy way, it shows you with proof that you are in motion in your life. Action builds confidence no matter what the result is. Okay, that was a really, really big thing that came out of the people that I spoke to. So the final tip, number 9, the final theme. This is going to be a no-fail way to help you stay on track with living your own life path confidently. And it's about being connected to your inner self. I don't know if you've noticed, but this world is extremely noisy. There is every person willing to tell you who you should be and what you should do, and their opinion, and provide expectations and put them upon you and try to condition your mindset to either tell you should be more of this or should be more of that, or just try to criticize or judge and bring you down. You have to have a strong relationship with your inner self. If you don't have that and you don't connect inside of yourself, because of all the demands and the responsibility and the noise and the conditioning and the expectations that are coming at you all the time, you can lose yourself in all of that. and you end up comparing yourself to other people or trying to meet expectations, and it doesn't feel good. I know you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't feel good. And so as a counter to that, just take like even 2 minutes once a day when you first get up in the morning or just before you go to bed at night to close your eyes and go inside of yourself and to ask yourself, what is true for me? What is my truth? What is my unique path? What is meaningful to me? So that you don't end up living someone else's version of what they think your life should be, or that you don't end up comparing yourself and trying to think you need to be like that person over there or this person over here. You do not need to be like anybody else. You just need to love and accept who you are and be your good self just as you are. And it's really hard to do that if you don't take time to connect within. Okay, multiple people have said this, having a little bit of time where I just be with myself, nothing else, just be with myself, sometimes just in silence. And just say, oh yeah, that's right. What's meaningful to me is not all these other goals that other people are focusing. What's meaningful to me is just like being a good person. Or what's meaningful to me is I really want to do this career. Or what is meaningful to me is my most important relationships, and that's it. Or what is my truth? My truth is I just want to freely express myself and I don't care what other people think about me. That's my truth. What is your truth and what is your unique life path? Because it's different for everybody. And the more you tune inside of yourself and connect with yourself, and I know it sounds cliche, but it's like the foundation of my daily life. It's like these little rituals keep me sane. And I know for like one of the mentors I spoke to, she's a dear mentor of mine, and she said it herself. She said, you know, like, this is really important. I have to connect to my inner world in order to be balanced in the outer world. If I don't do that, I'm out of kilter. And you know what happens? It knocks your confidence. When you get out of kilter and you start listening to the world around you more than listening to your deep inner voice, you get out of kilter and your confidence starts to get knocked. So to keep a solid confidence inside and to keep your self-esteem and to boost it and to build it, build that connection to your inner voice. You could call it your inner voice, your inner spark, your inner light, your intuition, your spirit, your soul, your higher self, the divine spark within, whatever it is to you that you call that, right? And it might be just a closed eyes, silent meditation, a breathing, a conversation inside yourself, or a journaling exercise. But just take a couple of minutes every day and do that for yourself. And it's amazing what happens over time. It has a cumulative effect. It's not like you open your eyes after 2 minutes and you feel like a confident powerhouse. It's the cumulative effect over time of that, along with all these other things we've talked about, that create a recipe. If you take those 9 things, and they're not the only things you can do for confidence. Like I teach a course, The Confidence Formula, and we do other things in that. But these are 9 things that came out of conversations with people that inspire me, that demonstrate confidence in their life, that have absolutely had self-doubt or lack of confidence or low self-esteem or lacked trust in themselves, and have done these types of things, and these things have made a difference for them. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, you have any comments, be sure to leave them in the comments below this video. You can reach out to me at support@thedailypositive.com. If you have any questions or you need any extra resources, I'm very happy to hear from you. It's been my pleasure to share this with you.